Dear listener and viewer, this is Dr. Kafai, and today is October 13, 2015, and I would like to have this program in English for friends, clients, and viewers that they don't speak or read in Farsi, and they ask us, me, that they like to see what I am talking about and what's my program about, and they request, they inquire. They had the calls from friends and people that are interested to listen to my program, and they wanted to have some of our program in English language. I am pleased to have some programs in English, and I hope our Persian listeners also pay attention because the subjects that we would speak about in English may be different than the one that in the Persian. The reason for that, the subject that we would speak in English would be mostly related to the people that lives in Canada or United States, or in general in North America, and the subjects therefore would be more impact the people's life in these countries. And of course, the Persian or people that speaks in Farsi, if they listen to this program, they would. I hope they would enjoy the program, and at least would know that we Iranian Canadian that live in Toronto and other cities of Canada or United States are only or our major issues is not concern, personal concern, or the life expectancy, or just the social welfare of our life, and also we care about the country, our country, in this case Canada, that we live, and we would like to show how we appreciate it that we live in this country, and also we would like to have our share and give our share to this country. The subject I would like to talk about at some point is about the TPP, a short version of the trade between Trans-Pacific Partnership, TPP, Trans-Pacific Partnership. That meaning that I hope most of you followed the news, and this news been going on for past 10 years, actually started in 2005, and recently is becoming more dense and specific because, as I will explain at some point, this trade agreement has been signed recently with countries that involved. As I said, this is a subject is about the TPP, Trans-Pacific Partnership. I am talking as a person, I am talking as a citizen, and I am talking as a person that interested the country that I live, and I am interested in the politics that goes on in or affects the people life in country that I live, which in this case is Canada. And I will tell why everybody should think and talk about the TPP. This talk, or my concern, is actually a point of the awareness, bring to the friends, people that I know of, or the people that I can reach to, and show them that I am aware of the disagreement and I have a concern about the disagreement. Therefore, I invite my friends and people that I am in contact, please take your time and think about the disagreement. Of course, this is any agreement like this agreement or trade agreement is very tight and 100% integrated with the politics of this country. And I like to, and I am talking as a non-partisan in this program, even though I have some affiliation with some of the parties that, or some of the major parties in Canada, but this talk is totally about the non-partisan view of me, and I'm trying to be factual and bring the awareness, as I said, to my friends, peoples, and the people that listen on radio on this program or view me on TV. Few points I really have to underline. As I said, one of the most important is I am not talking as an expert, but I am talking instead as a citizen. And as I said, I believe we all citizens, we are lucky enough living in countries like Canada, which can raise our concern and the point of view, and hoping at some point affects the politician's decision, and try to reach the politician and inform them why we have some concerns about, in this case, about this trade. TPP or Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement is a trade agreement, meaning that's a business agreement which happening or has been signed mostly between 12 countries at this moment, and there is other countries which are interested, but of course they have their own reason. Maybe they are not ready at this point to join to this agreement. There is a few very important subjects that really impacts all of our lives, specifically if we are living in one of these 12 countries. One of the important or the major subjects that on daily basis, or the people which are interested, we hear and we read in the news, is a secrecy of this agreement. Almost in all involved countries, this trade agreement has been talked in very secret condition or position, should I say, meaning that none of the country openly has been open the subject or the detail of this agreement to his people and share all the aspects or most of the aspects with his public, and gather, collect their views, interests, and see whether they are in favor of this agreement or not. This is a very side or downsizing point of the disagreement, which almost all these involved countries, public, are at least worried about the result of this agreement, and they are not sure how fairness would be applied to countries which they are not in terms of the population, in terms of the innovation, in terms of the agriculture, in terms of the technology. They are not equal. In some of these countries are really, at least we should call, they are not rich. If they are not poor, but they are not rich as well. So one of the reason, at least in the media, has been told to the public that why is going on in secret, or has gone already or negotiated in the secret. One of the main reason that I have read or I have heard is all the countries, or most of the countries that are involved, they do not feel comfortable disclose the all information in a public or in a wide range, since they are not sure that this agreement is going to be achieved and is going to be implemented. So at some point, maybe at some point, this is a reasonable reason that countries or involved countries are forwarding or replying for those peoples that have really concern about the disagreement. But in other hand, while this reason could be reasonable, people, or just the way that has been happened so far in the major trade agreements between the countries, and based on the experiences the citizens of the many countries have so far, there is a major concern again that the people believe this agreement or trade agreement, like many other major trade agreements, is about favoring the corporations, not the citizen of the any countries, which in some point, when you go through the agreement, or just you study the agreement as much as possible, you can see there is a point. That is a point that most likely this agreement again is going to be in favor of the big corporations, and this is the corporations that unfortunately is controlling the public or citizen already in some point, and is getting worse and worse. However, what we are going to do, what we should do in this point, whether there is a point we should be 100% against to this or any agreement like this, or what we can do as a citizen. So we have no choice to listen our politicians that are governing our country or are representing our citizen. As I said, my approach is going to be as a non-partisan, and in this case, at least for Canada that I can talk, our current Prime Minister, Mr. Stephen Harper, is almost 100% is in favor of this agreement. Why he is in favor of agreement? There is a few things that I can think of based on the information that me and some other interested people have, that we can talk about it now, is basically informations which has been leaked through the WikiLeaks and other interested parties, that they are in fact are the instrumental organization or individual or bodies or parties that trying to break that bridge and secrecy and try to educate, inform the citizen of the all countries, not necessarily citizen of the Canada or United States. So our Prime Minister is 100% is in favor of this agreement, and is is advocating or ownershiping this agreement, and is making sure and enforcing the idea that there would no job loss at all, and would open Canada investors and the investment in the large capacity to the internationally, which Canadian investors can compete in an international arena, which before they did not have that opportunity. This one of the reasons is that domestically that Mr. Stephen Harper, our Prime Minister, is declaring and supporting the idea that why he is in favor, and the citizen of the Canada or people of the Canada should support this trade. But I believe he has a more information knowledge about it. One of the reasons that I think of, as again leaked information, as per information that leaked by WikiLeaks, basically what they are saying, this is about, as I said, is about the corporations which they are based basically in United States, and this is all about their plan for future, how they can control other countries and other citizens of the countries, and how they can make more money or have more benefits. And of course, Stephen Harper, as the Prime Minister of the country, is the only or the first individual which have access to all detail of the agreement so far, which other party leaders lacking that knowledge or information or access to the information. Another reason just why they think is United States plan and corporations plan. Basically, the idea is basically they are trying to compete with China in international arena, and they have that insecurity and fear that the China most likely the way that is showing and the trend is going on has a opportunity because of its own internal economy and the population and other things, has the opportunity that they can defeat its competitors like United States or Japan. You know, that's one of the major, another big country that involved in this or is one of the 12 countries that involved in this trade agreement is Japan, which is a third economy of the world. Therefore, basically, this is a lobby or clubbing against China in trades or in trade matter, or in the trade which they today. We know that there is many points that the countries they can compete, such as innovation, economy, or the army and other things. Basically, I think is one of the major subject that the countries they are fighting or they are competing is economy, and basically there is no question the country which has a strongest economy is going to be more powerful or is going to have more to say comparing to its competitors. So while said that, this is the situation that is basically is this trade is about. What points are people are worried? Major port from Canada's point of view is agriculture, is automotive sectors, and also it's called, I have to look at it, it's called intellectual property point of the view. So Canada, as we know, is almost is fifth country in terms of the exporting is agriculture products. Canada has a strong agriculture, and almost 2.5 million people are involved in agriculture, agri-food, and food processing. Food processing meaning that this system or process makes change from the raw food or raw commodities to food that is ready to be served on the table, food, beverage, and others. So this is a big, or one of the sixth of the economy of the Canada involved in the agriculture, agri-food, and food processing system, which is very important for Canada and Canadian farmers. And I, as a profession which involved in the agriculture and food science and technology, it is important for me to know the country that I live, what is going to happen to farming or agriculture or food processing or dairy population in future. We should, I should mention that is that this agreement mostly has been accepted by all countries and partially has been signed or accepted, but has not been finalized. And in some cases, hopefully that supposed to happen, this agreement should go to the parliament in this case of the Canada, and has to be debated and has to be consulted to other parties and party leaders, and receive a vote whether this agreement should be accepted or to be signed or not. So far, the position of the other leaders, I talked about Mr. Stephen Harper, Prime Minister, and other major leaders, which are Justin Trudeau, Liberal Party, leader of the Liberal Party. He has just said we are going to look at it on the time. That meaning Justin Trudeau, in my opinion, or his team has not concerned or has not been worked on it so far, because this is a process, or this is a politics, or that point should be issued on each day, or specifically in Canada. Now we are going for the parliamentary election, which is going to be happen on next Monday, October 19, and this is a politics. This is a issue or subject that should be talked now, and the people should think about it, and it would, I hope, affect some people's decision whether they are going to vote for which party. So far, as I said, Mr. Justin Trudeau has not, did not have a strong opinion on this subject. In other hand, Mr. Thomas Mulcair has clearly informed the public that he's going to be, regardless, is going to be opposition of this agreement, and is not going to be bound by any agreement that is going to be signed by Prime Minister Mr. Harper. So we, as a citizen, what we should do, or even they don't have information about the detail, and we as a citizen almost have no information about the detail. And this is very important that I have to underline the importance of the issue is very, very technical, and the 90% of the citizen, like myself, we may not be able to even understand the depth or the threat that in future, or even benefit in the future, that is going to bring to us, our citizen, or to the other country. So now, basically, I think myself, so whether I should go for an agreement that or support an agreement that I don't know the detail, or I should support the idea that we will think about the disagreement in future while agreement has been processing or has been signed already, or I would just support the idea or politics or politician that is 100% is opposite about this agreement or any large trade agreement such as TPP. So if we look for the future, if we look for the innovation, if we look for partnership, how we can back off without the signing or involving on any trade agreement such as TPP. And in other hand, as I said, this is international trade, let's say, competition. Canada is not a small country. Canada has a large economy, and we expect Canada to be leader in many area, but not in the war. We want Canada be peaceful. We want Canada to reach and benefit the other citizen, other population, other countries than the even Canadian. So how we can expect the Canada not to be involved in such a trade agreement and to be leader is not possible. And how we can close the door for innovations, how we can just close the door for the exporting the agriculture, exporting the technology. Of course, we have a question whether it's going to be fair or is going to be in favor of our citizen, or what is going to be damaged, or what points are the critical points that we should know of. Of course, that is going to be then through the subject to subject, and is going to be very technical and has to be answered with the people that have an opinion or they are expert in the subject. And those opinions should be aligned and should be supported by innovation and openness to the world, and rather than just because of my party said, his party said, or because I don't like the party leader, that I am against anything that he says. This is a very dangerous game. And unfortunately, we are in this position at this moment. And this is a very critical time for us as a Canadian. We are in the election process already. 2.5 or 3.5 million of the Canadian has voted in the past 3-4 days in advance poll. which is there is an increase of 70% comparing to 2011, and that shows that how Canadians are concerned or involved or care about their politician or politics and the subjects that they affects or going to be have impact in their life. So this is a time that we as a citizen think we have no choice, we don't have a time, and there is no point and the time to postpone this kind of the ideas. So the current government is promoting and supporting the trade agreement and assuring the people of the Canada there is not going to be job loss, and is going to help to small businesses of the Canada to be even be open to the or compete internationally, which they had no that opportunity before. This looks nice promises, but again, as we know from the general experience that we have so far, and this all small companies are going to be compete with large corporation, which is the chance of them to win is limited, and there is also possibility they lose their job or they lose their prosperity. This is a very dangerous game, and unfortunately, as I said, we have no choice. And looks like, as I said, this is a primary doctrine that they grown or created in the United States, and basically because of the competing or fighting economically or in the trade level to China or any other countries has been created in the United States. And there is oppositions in Senate level or Congress level, but eventually I believe they are going to be eliminated, because this is all about the corporations benefit, and the United States, whatever it has done, we know that the United States is the capitalism or the heaven of the capitalism or mother of the capitalism, and the capitalism meaning the corporation, and we should not expect too much from that country that they are going to think or act in favor of the socialism or people, but they will of course support anything that supports the corporations and the capitalism. And the Canada has a very close tie with the United States from the border point of view. From the United States is the major or the first country that or the largest country that Canada exports to the United States. So therefore, Canada has no choice, most likely, to align with the United States. However, even Mr. Stephen Harper, Prime Minister, has told we have our own opinion. But in some specific areas, unfortunately, there has been sacrificed the people's opinion, but the government have been aligned in support of the corporations. There is many detail-oriented points that we may not be able, and as I said, because I am not the expert in the subject, but as I said, I am thinking and talking as a citizen is I just want to bring the awareness of and the importance of the subject, but of course I have no that information or position that go further to detail. One of the subject that is very important is called intellectual property. To be honest, I didn't know what exactly meant before just looking in subject intellectual property. Intellectual property is basically is a copyrights of the writers and all the internet businesses and all the CDs and many other things. As I said, it's very detail oriented, and there's a big negotiation is going on behind the scene, and as has been leaked by WikiLeaks. And unfortunately, it seems the Canadian negotiators have been given up on many areas of the intellectual property, because again, that's the competition, and there is a 12 country, and you have to, if you want to have a business or trade with them, you have to sacrifice, because you may sacrifice some issues or subjects that may help you have access to bigger or better chances or opportunities. So one of the major areas that are very concerned from the law point of the view, I just briefly, or my understanding from what I gathered information is this trade agreement gives the opportunity to corporations, major corporations, that could take the government of the any country which involved in the trade agreement to court if any public decision that has been taken and specific country which has been damaged or cost the corporation, that company or corporation has a right take that government to international court, not specifically to the court of that said country. And this is a very dangerous as per experts, and so far, based on the report, Canada had some cases which has been taken to international courts in these matters, such as these matters in trade area, has been lost, few of them, and that's cost over $100 million court costs. So when we said the court costs, or also that corporation has a right to ask the specific government for compensations. So imagine when we are talking about the court cost or any compensation to be paid by a government to a specific corporation. This is money of the 100% money of the taxpayers, meaning you and me and others. So this is a sensitive area, and on daily basis we are not involved. We are not told which court any specific company has taken our government, and whether they have lost or win the court decision, and if it is lost, how much is going to be paid, and what compensation any country has been asked or charged our government, and how it affected or what impact does it have on our daily life. So this is not a small subject. This is a point that unfortunately the government, if doesn't govern the country in the right way, that leaks the money here, there, and eventually comes to the point of the recession or close to the recession, or talk about the recession. And even with the talking about the recession, the effects in very badly mentally to all the peoples, and which has a very bad effects on the people's daily life. So we have to understand, or government has to be clear, whatever that is paying or has been charged is basically is a public money or citizen or taxpayers' money. So this is another dangerous point, that this trade agreement is going to affects, of course, is going to affect all the countries, include Canada, and then how we are going to think about it, and hopefully our lawmakers, hopefully our opposition leaders will think about it, or will develop or implement, create a team, expert team that comes out and educate the public, and hopefully brings the points to the government's attention, and hopefully governments thinks and hopefully corrects those points in favor of its public. So we are going to continue with a few other points in this regard, and I would like to ask you, just we all together listen to Persian music, and I will be back with you. Thank you very much. I hope non-Persian viewer and listener enjoy the Persian music. It's a very lovely music. And again, this message is going to be for non-Persian viewers and listeners. And you see, some people think that the woman in Iran is totally in a different situation or whatever, but our woman in Iran is a major part of the daily life. They are very successful in music and many other innovations, and I hope non-Persian friends and viewers learn more about the Iran and the woman's role in the daily life, Iranian daily life. Back to our subject, we don't have too much time, but one of the, at least if I could just talk briefly about the two major points or subjects in this agreement. One is a medicine.
Thank you.
Sorry, I just is about the medicine. What is going to happen most likely is again based on the information that has been leaked through the WikiLeaks and other parties. What's happening? What is the idea? Pharmaceutical corporation in the United States trying to manipulate the prices of the medicine, which they can increase the price of the medicine, even some of them which are very, very important for life-threatening diseases like AIDS or HIV, and trying to ban generic or cheaper medicine, and therefore they will not have to compete in the large capacity while they have access to more people, and they can enforce the people buy the more expensive medicine. And in other world, most likely what's happening, many of the peoples on the developing country or not developed country or poor country, should I say, they are not going to have access even to the life-threatening medicine. And this is unfortunately is one of the major side effects or fearful points of this trade agreement. So already we have seen in the past month one of the company, which I don't want to be honest say, or I think it wouldn't be harmful because it's a publicly announced. Lilly company is just increased its one of its or some of the medicine price 250 times. Like, if I am not wrong, just the medicine for AIDS or HIV, which $30-50, is just the increase to $750, which was the enormous increase in the price of the medication. And basically, my understanding was there was no any legal restriction for them. They can do that. So I think that was an example. They tried basically, most likely, prepare the people mind what is going to happen, and if it happens, trying to say that the people can't do anything. And with this kind of the trade agreement, obviously they are going to prepare in advance legislation which no one could challenge their decision. And either you use the medication with 100 times expensive than the normal or what's supposed to be, or you just unfortunately or basically to die. This is a very dangerous sport and dangerous point, and hopefully government of the Canada would not be part of this shameful decision in this matter, or hopefully just opens this subject to to the interested parties or experts. They can bring their opinion, they can help with the correction, and they can adjust the policy which not cause the death of the many peoples, or do not ban, restrict the reaching of the people to the medicine which is life-threatening or life-saving, and they are in need of it. Hopefully, government of Canada would not be part of a scary agreement in this regard. Is a medicine, is, as I said, is a life saving or life-threatening, has importance. So this again, all the concerned parties are very worried, and as I said, they already made the announcement a month ago in the United States, and they kind of notified the people, okay, this is what we can do or we have access to do, and this is a legislation that not be challenged or is supporting what we have done. And with this kind of the trade agreement, they are going to concrete their legislation. And we know after the legislation or the agreement takes place, and there is no way to challenge it. And this is a time we should raise our concern and reach to our politicians and ask for just not because of the competition or being a part of the competition in the trade internationally, sacrifice life of the millions which they are in immediate need for the life-threatening or life-saving medicine. The another scary point that has been leaked out is about the internet or the information internet. Already we know that whoever or all of us that we have put our personal or information, health information, financial information, family information, internet, already we disclose ourselves to nationally or internationally, and likely we should be mad or blame ourselves rather than anybody else. But however, there was a kind of the rules or the legislation that the information that our local governments or national government possess, they have a way they should save locally or nationally. And what is my understanding is with this agreement, trade agreement or TPP or Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement, unfortunately, there is no restriction is going to be anymore, and almost our personal or financial information is going to be reached, or the other people are going to easily have access to all information, and most likely the governments are not going to take any responsibility to protect the personal information, which is this is also is another very dangerous point, which people like myself, when we started to use the internet, maybe we didn't know what we are going to be faced, or what is going to be commitment of our politicians or government, or where is the line, or whether there is an agreement between the public and their government. And I hope this trade agreement in general and in whole comes to the parliament and will be disclosed fully to the public and the parliament, and with the time, given time and the time, enough time, they will analyze it, or at least prevent some major wrong decisions that may impact our daily life in a negative way. In general, we as a citizen or just a government, of course, we support any trade or international. We want to share our innovation, our technology, our export, because as we know, Canada is very productive country from the agriculture, from the technology and innovations. And there is we know many other countries that love to have access to these opportunities in Canada. But there should be a balance, and there should be a balance in what cost this sharing information or innovation and other opportunity that we have. We are going to share with the other populations or cultures or people or countries, and what cost. And this is the points that again and again, hopefully we as a citizen follow the news, read the paper, read the information, try to have access to the information, and educate ourselves, and start with the pressing or politician government, share this information with our public, and take off this secrecy away, and make sure we make collectively as a politicians and the people and citizens a healthy decision for our public and for our country. I hope I have some points, and I hope I catch some people's interest, and I look forward to seeing you and talk to you in future again. All the best. Thank you and have a good day.
عرض پردیس شاهراهی